Welcome to Inside Out, mental health at work and in life, where we challenge outdated workplace ideas and advocate for healthier, more productive ways of working. Today, we're tackling one of the most damaging myths in modern work culture, the idea that working more hours means getting more done. You've probably seen it, hustle culture glorifying 60, 70, even 80-hour work weeks. Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, recently claimed that 60 hours per week is the sweet spot for productivity. And yet, we know from decades of research that working longer doesn't always mean working better. So where did this obsession come from? Why do we still measure work in hours rather than actual impact? And most importantly, what needs to change? Today we'll break it down, where the 40-hour work week and hourly pay came from, why productivity doesn't scale with time, the real reason we still cling to hours as a measure of work, and how we can start focusing on impact instead of just time at a desk. Many of us assume that the 40-hour work week has always been the standard. But in reality, it's a relatively new concept, one that came from a very different kind of work than most of us do today. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people were paid for tasks completed, not for time spent working. Farmers, artisans, and tradespeople weren't clocking in and out. They were getting paid based on what they produced. Then came factories. In the late 1700s and 1800s, industrialization transformed the way we work. Employers needed structured, predictable labor schedules, so they introduced hourly wages. Fast forward to the post-war economic boom of the 1940s and 1950s, and the 40-hour work week became the gold standard. It made sense for factory work. More hours meant more output. But here's the question. Does this model still make sense for today's knowledge-based work? For many jobs today, productivity isn't about how long you work. It's about what you actually achieve. Sergey Brin's 60-hour productivity claim is just the latest version of an old myth, the idea that grinding longer automatically leads to better results. But research tells a different story. Studies show that after 40 hours per week, productivity starts declining. After 50 hours, it plummets. And by 60 hours, you're basically just working tired, inefficient hours, making more mistakes and burning yourself out in the process. Here's the thing. Knowledge work doesn't function like factory work. You can't force creativity, problem-solving, or deep thinking into more hours. In fact, overworking often leads to diminishing returns, where each extra hour gives you less and less value. Think about it like this. Imagine 10 people are given the same task and 1 hour to complete it. Some finish in 30 minutes, while others need 2 hours. Why? Because productivity isn't one size fits all. It depends on experience, energy levels, focus, distractions, disability, neurodiversity, and the nature of the task itself. Yet we still measure work in hours, as if productivity were a simple math equation. If more hours don't equal better results, why are so many workplaces still obsessed with time at a desk? A few key reasons. Corporate habit. We still structure work as if we're in factories, even when we're not. Micromanagement and control. Some leaders feel like long hours equal commitment, even when it's just performative. Cultural norms. Overwork is glorified. Setting boundaries is often seen as a lack of dedication. Systemic issues. Many workplaces don't know how to measure real impact, so they default to hours logged instead. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Time spent working is not the same as value created. So, what's the alternative? Instead of tracking hours, workplaces should focus on real performance indicators like quality of work produced, impact on team goals, engagement and well-being, and creative problem-solving. Workplaces also need to embrace flexibility, allowing people to work in a way that suits their natural productivity rhythms. Forcing everyone into 9-to-5 schedules when their best thinking happens at 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. is a waste of human potential. The truth is, Sergey Brin's 60-hour workweek is an outdated relic of an old way of thinking. Real productivity isn't about hours worked, it's about energy, focus, and engagement. It's time we stop glorifying overwork and start valuing impact over time spent at a desk. So, what do you think? Should we move beyond the 40-hour model entirely? Let's keep this conversation going. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't need to work more to work better. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Subscribe and share if you want more discussions like this.